All right, everybody, good evening. I'm forecaster Nick Dunn with the Bell Park Weather Network, and this is a look at your forecast for the Dayton, Ohio, Miami Valley, and the Whitewater Valley area. It was another hot and steamy day across the area today. We did make it up to 91 degrees, as you see right here this afternoon, and we started out the morning at 72, so a very muggy start to the day. Peak wind gusts this afternoon did make it up to 18 miles per hour, and we did not have any rainfall today. I'll turn your attention to that sunrise-sunset time exactly at 14 hours. We're continuing to see that we've already passed our longest day of the year in terms of daylight, so as we get a little bit closer to fall, that number will continue to shrink. Taking a look at current conditions right now at the Dayton International Airport, it is still 89 degrees this evening. We're still feeling like 96. That wind out of the southwest at 11 is helping, but let's be honest, it's just stirring that hot air around. Dew point is 72, rather tropical feeling out there. Kind of feels like Florida, honestly. That humidity is sitting at 57%, visibility checking in at 9 miles, so no problems in terms of restrictions out there. Across the region here this evening, Muncie still checking in at 90 degrees. Otherwise, everybody else in the mid to upper 80s this evening. Temperatures will slowly fall tonight back into the 70s, but it's going to remain uncomfortable throughout the overnight. Still continue to watch that as well. Moving forward, take a look at your headlines for tomorrow. Upper 80s, low 90s, anywhere you go across our entire coverage area here. Hot and steamy, hit and miss showers and thunderstorms. But my main concern is Tuesday, and I'll turn your attention to that as well. First, we will be looking at your main risk for Tuesday. We may see a couple of tornadoes, but obviously the main concern would be for damage and wind gusts and maybe some hail. And I'll step back here to the side to show you that really most of the Miami Valley, so you're talking Dayton, Springfield, Bellefontaine, you're in that level 2 risk. So the northern Miami Valley, Salina, up towards Kenton and Wapakoneta, you're in the level 1 risk. And so really, if you're in that area to the north, not going to likely see as much in the way of severe weather. That area in yellow is where that best chance of severe weather is likely going to be. And the timing on that is from about noon to midnight. So kind of a long duration. We'll see how things set up throughout the daytime tomorrow. If you want to try to mow the lawn tomorrow, might be able to squeeze it in between a couple showers. We'll start out in the morning in the mid-70s for everybody. And by the time we get towards early afternoon, we are into the mid-80s. And we'll be in the upper 80s to around 90 tomorrow in the evening. But again, try to maybe get it done between a couple of those showers and storms. But obviously, if you hear thunder, make sure that you get indoors. It will be the last thing that we want to have happen out there. And for the rest of the night tonight, you're looking at temperatures in the low to mid-70s for everybody. A few showers and storms possible late tonight and a light southwest breeze. But again, it's really going to be uncomfortable, so make sure that air conditioner is in good working condition. And we'll take a look at the rest of the region for tonight. You can see temperatures in the low to mid-70s, and again, a few showers and storms possible overnight, just with leftover heat and humidity from the rest of the day. I'll step out of here to look at the next 7 days. Again, Tuesday, we have that highlighted in red for the risk of maybe a couple strong to severe storms, highs in the upper 80s. We cool off a smidge for midweek, and we start to warm back up again into the weekend, back into the mid-90s with heat index values likely exceeding 100. This is what we call an MCS, or a mesoscale convective system. We're talking mesoscales. It's kind of on a smaller scale, so we're not talking about a large area geographically. We're talking about a much smaller area and much, just kind of looking at one focused area in particular. But obviously downtown Dayton down to downtown Cincinnati. If you're going up and down I-75, also traveling 675 up towards Fairborn, and even also eventually up here towards places like Enid and Springfield, you could be getting the path of this eventually, but coming right into the downtown Dayton area right now. This is moving pretty quickly, I will say that, as this continues to push off towards the east, and a little bit of a southeast turn with this as well, so eventually they'll head down towards Harrisburg, and eventually Wilmington as well, kind of down the line. So again, main concern, let's zoom in just to the south of Kettering here. That spot right there. So we have just a little bit of an inflow notch. Now again, the tornado risk here really is not our main concern today. It's always been about damage and wind, but of course you can get a brief spin up isolated tornado. Sometimes those even happen between radar scans. So this is why we're telling you to get indoors, stay away from windows. Don't try to venture outside to get a picture of this. I know we have a lot of folks with cell phones. You want to get a picture of that nice looking shelf cloud and things like that, but just we want you to be safe doing so. We don't want you to put your life at risk to get any kind of picture. So find a more substantial structure. If you know somebody, maybe it's a neighbor a mile down the road, and you're out in advance of this. So I know those of you out in Monroeville and Hoagland, I know that there's a couple of mobile home parks out that way just from living out there in the past, but I will tell you that as you work down the line here with mobile home parks, that concerns me greatly. Widespread tree damage could certainly bring down a lot of trees and power lines. Power outage numbers are likely going to be very high. The latest scan there, again, that supercell type structure continues. You can see that little bit of a hook on the southeastern side of that, and then there's your inflow notch coming in right there. Really concerned about this storm, so that's why we're staying on air for this. So again, downtown Fort Wayne, significant thunderstorm moving through, life-threatening situation, and as we continue to work down the line, again, you've got New Haven, you've got Hoagland, Monroeville, you've got Poe and Yoder in the path of this, eventually down towards Decatur, And Van Wert, there was the latest scan. Look at that inflow notch. That is really concerning right there. Maybe now just a little bit of a better risk of a tornado just based on the signature. But again, regardless we don't have a tornado warning, but regardless of what's going on right now, you've got to be in that safe place. That means put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. That means you need to get to the lowest level. And again, I understand it's not a tornado warning, but just understand that with winds of this magnitude, it doesn't really matter if it's a straight line wind event or a tornado. You're going to have widespread significant damage. And I just got word now that the Fort Wayne International Airport just had a 98 mile per hour wind gust. So that really is going to elevate our tone even further. Now we're talking past Category 1 hurricane force type winds. We're talking EF1 type of tornado now. So those are the type of wind speeds that we're seeing. You're going to see trees knocked over, and there could be several of them knocked over for miles. You're going to see lots of power poles down. Obviously, if we have a lot of high-profile vehicles driving, you see winds of that magnitude. Even if you're loaded, you may see some of those type of vehicles start to tip over.